Guess what? You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Because I record anything and everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable. And we don't have to pretend or make any videos. The world is watching. They'll make the videos for us. And you don't have to hold a camera. You can hold the hand of somebody that you love, because what happens next to you, you're going to need to remember that feeling. You're going to need something more than what you did. Just pulling up to the capital of Texas.
Hey, Derek, you know how I got so jacked?
How?
I followed the 9 ancestral tenets.
Oh, I heard that works really well.
It's the best way. There's no way you can look like that.
No.
In your 40s, that jacked. I mean, he's preposterously jacked. Do we have a fucking... Now that we know that he's full of shit, we're talking about the Liver King, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people are like, what are they saying? This is all inside stuff.
Yeah.
There's a guy, if you don't know who the Liver King is, the guy calls himself the Liver King, and he's this guy who walks around everywhere with no shirt on. I've seen him in Vegas with no shirt on.
And then you can worry about me. This week you probably might need to worry about me. Probably need to worry about Joe Rogan more. Probably need to worry about other things, but... Where are we going, Adam? Austin, Texas, and who's Liver King picking a fight with?
Joe Rogan.
Everybody knows. Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty elaborate. Like, his team was, he has a media team that he hired to kind of like...
Right, but they're just employees. Yeah. One of them...
You hear the words 3 times. Your deed, echoing off the marble columns of the Texas Capitol. A muscular 40-something wearing nothing but a ragged wolf pelt stares down the camera, veins bulging, sweat beading, daring the world's biggest podcaster to show up. That single, unblinking threat jolted millions of phones awake. And within hours, police, fans, and even Joe Rogan himself were wondering whether the internet had finally bred a monster it couldn't cage. Rewind just a few years, and Liver King was fitness influencer royalty. Brian Johnson, a former pharmaceutical exec who transformed himself into a bare-chested caveman, preaching 9 ancestral tenets, gnawing raw liver on stage, and promising primal salvation through $100 a month supplement stacks. In less than 3 years, he racked up over 3 million Instagram followers. And, according to industry trackers, spun that audience into an alleged 9-figure empire. But a kingdom built on spectacle demands ever louder drum beats, and Johnson kept turning up the volume. The first crack appeared in late 2022, when leaked emails showed him spending roughly $11,000 every month on human growth hormone and steroids, directly contradicting years of all-natural bragging. His apologetic shrug, "I did it to help men," fell flat, but the humiliation truly detonated when Joe Rogan roasted the lie on his podcast, laughing that no one could look preposterously jacked at 47 without chemical help. The clip went viral, and something inside Johnson snapped. From that day forward, getting Rogan's microphone became an obsession. He lurked cage side at UFC cards, hijacked Vegas comedy shows, even planted a producer in Rogan's security line just to slip a pitch. When doors stayed shut, he escalated, arriving shirtless at weigh-ins, flaunting animal organs like trophies, promising he'd eat an elk heart on air. Each ignored stunt upped the stakes, and followers began trading theories. Was this desperate marketing, or a man free-falling into his own persona? By June 2025, the answer felt disturbingly clear. Johnson flooded Instagram with frenetic, poorly lit vlogs, one moment lecturing a cluster of cockroaches about loyalty, the next tearing leaves off his backyard trees and chewing them while quoting Stoic philosophy. He kept repeating, "The world is watching," as if live stream views were oxygen. Then came the cryptic promise. He was driving to Austin with a box bearing Rogan's face, and he wouldn't leave until the podcaster gave him an honorable fight. Fans slowed one clip and swore they saw the barrel of something metallic inside. Police later noted he'd brandished gold-plated handguns in earlier rants, though whether a weapon sat in that box remains unconfirmed. Rogan, hearing chatter from mutual friends and seeing tagged threats, finally called detectives. Investigators pored over the videos, traced Johnson's GPS pings, and concluded the line from performance art to menace had been crossed. On June 24th, they secured a warrant. Less than 2 hours later, officers found Liver King pacing a suite at the Four Seasons, still filming, still muttering about ancestral destiny. The arrest was live posted to his own feed, ironically giving him the audience he craved, even as cuffs clicked shut. The booking sheet reads, "Terroristic threat causing fear of imminent serious bodily injury." A Class B misdemeanor in Texas, but the judge's conditions were anything but minor. $20,000 bond, an ankle monitor, a mandatory psychiatric evaluation within a week, and an order to stay at least 200 yards from Joe Rogan and his family, online or off. To no one's surprise, Johnson posted bail before sunrise and, ankle monitor beeping, fired off 16 new clips insisting Rogan had put him in jail and, bizarrely, claiming he now wanted to fight actor Seth Rogen instead. So, why risk everything? Psychologists point to the parasocial jackpot. Each provocation earned algorithmic boosts, outrage comments, stitched reactions to those reactions. Experts say influencer economies reward shock faster than they punish lies, pushing creators toward ever riskier extremes. Rogan's dismissal threatened Johnson's core identity. Without the primal mystique, he was just another guy selling overpriced pills. Getting the podcaster's acknowledgement, any acknowledgement, became a last gasp for relevance. Meanwhile, legal analysts warn that the gold gun imagery could complicate Johnson's defense. Brandishing realistic firearms, even as props, while issuing threats broadcasts intent. One prosecutor likened it to waving a lit match in a fireworks store. But they also note the misdemeanor charge suggests prosecutors see mental instability, not calculated terror, as the prime mover. In Texas, a psych eval finding of diminished capacity could steer sentencing toward treatment rather than jail. Netflix smelling ratings accelerated its documentary Untold: The Liver King, dropping fresh episodes within a week of the arrest. The stream triggered another surge of eyeballs, and calls from some doctors to regulate extreme diet influencers who blur lines between entertainment and medical advice. Instagram, for its part, demonetized Johnson's account but stopped short of a full ban, citing the ongoing investigation and newsworthiness. Critics argue the platform profits off the spectacle either way. Rogan has remained publicly silent, but sources close to the show say private security has tightened around his Austin studio. UFC insiders whisper that if Johnson somehow convinces an athletic commission to clear a sanctioned bout, the spectacle could shatter PPV records. Others dismiss that as fantasy, noting the restraining order would need a judge's blessing just to put both men in the same building. Still, the internet loves impossible matchups. Every comment speculating on weight classes or rule sets keeps the Liver King algorithmically alive. Behind the memes, real-world stakes loom. A conviction, even misdemeanor, could jeopardize international travel, sponsorship contracts, and any hope of rebranding. Civil suits are already stacking up from former supplement customers who claim fraud. One lawyer quipped, "When your brand is honesty of the earth and you get caught lying, the class action lawyers smell blood." Yet Johnson doubles down, vowing a reckoning once the court drama ends. In a midnight post, now deleted, he stared into the lens and whispered that holding hands before what happens next was the only memory Rogan would have left. Law enforcement sources labeled the clip ominous but too vague, leaving prosecutors juggling First Amendment boundaries with public safety fears. Social media giants are watching this case like a stress test. If a creator can monetize threats up to the moment police intervene, policies may tighten on violent rhetoric. Some insiders predict a three-strike system where credible threats trigger instant demonetization, regardless of engagement numbers. Investors in creator economy startups are already whispering about Liver King clauses in future contracts. For now, the influencer sits at home, bare-chested, ankle bracelet blinking green, crafting yet another angle to reclaim the narrative. Whether he's spiraling or strategizing is anybody's guess. What's undeniable is how quickly modern fame can flip from flexing raw liver on TikTok to sitting in a jumpsuit explaining intent to a judge. So where does that leave Joe Rogan? In paradox, respond publicly, and he feeds the very beast threatening him. Stay silent, and the conspiracy mill churns louder. For a man whose brand is long-form conversation, refusing to speak may be the most strategic move he's ever made. But fans won't let the silence last forever. Comments on Rogan's latest Instagram photo, just a sunset over the Colorado River, are flooded with questions. Are you safe? Will you press charges? bro, just choke him out already. There's also a broader cultural reckoning underway. Johnson's downfall exposes the fragile border where self-help, performance art, and ego-driven delusion collide. When influencers cloak commercial goals in heroic rhetoric, failure feels existential and dangerous. Viewers, meanwhile, are learning that hitting like on shock content is more than a harmless dopamine hit. It's fuel. Still, people love redemptions almost as much as flameouts. Some fans whisper that a televised apology, maybe even a controlled sparring match, could rebuild Johnson's reputation. Crisis PR firms are pitching docu-series arcs where Liver King faces his demons in therapy while Rogan moderates. It sounds far-fetched until you remember how reality TV culture thrives on second and third acts. One well-placed handshake can erase months of headlines. Yet, the law is slower than the algorithm. Court calendars show Johnson's preliminary hearings set for mid-July, with mental health results filed beforehand. If doctors deem him a danger to himself or others, prosecutors could push for inpatient treatment. If not, the case may settle quietly with probation and fines, leaving social media platforms to decide whether notoriety outweighs nuisance. Until that gavel drops, you can expect more cryptic countdowns, more midnight uploads, and plenty of amateur psychiatric takes from comment section warriors. And every new clip will reopen the same chilling question that started this saga. How far will a man go to make sure the world never looks away? Because the next time Brian Johnson mutters, "You're dead," we now understand it's not just a line. It's a warning about what happens when online bravado, wounded pride, and an audience of millions collide in real life. Whether future courts, algorithms, or audiences will finally step back remains to be seen. But one truth is already carved in digital stone. Clout can be an addiction stronger than any steroid on Johnson's leaked supply list, and the withdrawal can be lethal, not only to the influencer, but to anyone standing in his feed-fueled path. So, viewers, weigh in below. Is this a cautionary tale of ego gone feral, or a master marketer gaming the outrage economy? Drop your thoughts. Just remember that every comment, every share, every stunned reaction is another notch on the scoreboard this saga was built to chase. And if you think the story ends here, well, as Liver King keeps reminding us, the world is still watching.